Okay.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tensek, and I thank you for joining us today on behalf of iLogix Custom Inc. I am pleased to welcome you to a new era of CPSC eFiling, your guide to fast, accurate submission. It is a pleasure to be here as we navigated this important territory shift together. We appreciate your partnership and look forward to a productive and informative session. So I would like to please thank you, and I will pass this to Miss Erica. Take over. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Tan. Again, everyone, welcome to the CPSC e-filing webinar, the new era of CPSC e-filing, your guide to a fast and accurate submissions. We have an very impactful webinar for you guys today. It is about 90 minutes, and we're going to walk through it pretty quickly. So let's begin. In this webinar, you'll understand the mandates. Oh, sorry, can we switch slides? Thank you. You'll understand the mandates. You'll see the processes, and you'll also have clarity on the compliance for for this process. Our team is here, like I said, to present 90 minutes in 6 segments. We're going to start with myself with the overview. Then we're going to move on to the regulatory background, the technical setup and portal access, a live demo for filing process, frequently asked questions, and comment scenarios. And then we'll have a closing and next steps by myself. And then we'll close it out with our VP, Mr. Jerome Owens. Okay, it's Jerome. Okay, he is here already. So let me introduce our team. You have myself, Erica Lindsay. I am the Assistant Compliance Manager here at iLogix Customs. And then we have Jerome Owens, who is our VP and our Compliance Manager. You also have Daphne Sun, who will present. She is one of our team leads in customs compliance personnel. We also have Jackie Lee, Lai? I never ask. Our team lead and customs compliance officer as well. And we also have Mr. Lee Wei Chin, who is our senior team lead and compliance officer as well for here at iLogix. Now we're going to begin our webinar, and we're going to start with our very own Mr. Jerome Owens. After Jerome unmutes himself, everyone, please stay muted throughout the entire process. If you have a question, again, put it in the comments and we will get to them as soon as possible. I will be watching the chat the entire time. Um,
Sorry about that.
there you are.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. And what we be doing is going over a little bit of the history as to why we're at this moment regarding customs. I think in 2021, Customs initiated a Modernization Act. Well, actually, that act was initiated in 1973, but they expounded upon it in 2001 to centralize customs. As a result of that, the Center of Expertise and Excellence was born. And from that, they've started studying ways to make it easier for the centralized organization to gather data. And so electronic filing, as a result of ACE, coming into fruition is one of the things that they came up with. Okay, the Center of Excellence and Expertise was created by Customs and Border Protection to modernize and standardize how trade compliance and post-release activities are handled across U.S. ports of entry. They were established following extensive collaborations between Customs Border Protection and the Commercial Customs Operation Advisory Committee, with concept testing and validation within both CBP and the trade community, U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The main reason for the establishment was before the center process imports on a port-by-port basis, which led to disparate treatment for similar goods entering at different ports. The inconsistency caused trade disruptions, increased transactions costs, and information gaps. The center addressed this by organizing post-release trade activity by industry sector and importer account, ensuring consistent application of trade users nationwide. The center's streamlined trade facilitation through partnership programs and industry-based education, while also validating risk factors and improving compliance within specific sectors. The dual focus helps reduce transaction costs and strengthen Customs Border Protection's ability to protect the U.S. economy. By focusing the enhanced enforcement and threat detection, by focusing on industry expertise, they also work with other government agencies to address requirements efficiently, creating a unified approach at the border. The center serves as a strategic point of connectivity between Customs and Border Protection and the trade community, providing a form of collaboration, information sharing, and problem solving. This improves transparency and aligns Customs and Border Protection's operations with the realities of the 21st century. The centers were designed to modernize CBP trade processing, enabling real-time communication, better data sharing, and more efficient handling of complex trade issues such as tariffs, classifications, and compliance requirements U.S. Customs demands. In summary, the Center of Excellence and Expertise was established to standardize trade processing, improve compliance, enhance enforcement, and strengthen collaboration between Customs and Border Protection and the trade community, ultimately making U.S. trade more efficient, transparent, and secure. As I mentioned before, as a result of that, they figured out ways to streamline the process. And one of them is e-filing for certification. In the past, the process for product certification and customs clearance was manual, paper-based, and often required physical submission of documents to customs authorities. This method contrasted sharply with today's electronic automated system. Certificates of compliance, product safety data, and other regulatory documents were printed and physically delivered to customs offices or custom brokers. They were often in hard copy form, sometimes with multiple copies, and required manual filing and storage. Customs officials or brokers would manually review and store the documents. This could lead to delays, especially if documents were lost, misfiled, or required resubmission. Product certification was often submitted after the customs entry was made, rather than as part of the entry process. This meant that goods could be released without immediate verification of compliance, increasing the risk of non-compliant products entering the market. There was no integrated system for sharing product certification data between importers, brokers, and customs authorities. Each party had to maintain its own records, and verification was done on a case-by-case basis. The automated or ACE and other electronic trade systems did not exist at that time. Filing was done via paper forms or early generation electronic systems, which were slower and less secure. There was a higher risk of errors and noncompliance. Without automating checks, mistakes in product data or missing certification could go unnoticed until later, leading to inspection penalties or product recalls. Modern systems like ACE, CPSC eFiling, and trusted trade programs have replaced much of this manual process with electronic submission of product certification data at the time of entry, allowing customs to verify compliance in real time and reduce delays. In summary, the old method was manual, paper heavy, and reactive, with certification often submitted after the clearance. Today's approach is electronic, proactive, and integrated, ensuring faster, more secure, and more accurate customs clearance. The first question here we see is what e-filing is. E-filing is a CPSC initiative for importers of regulated consumer products to electronically file data elements from a certificate of compliance with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection via a partner government agency message set. E-filing is changing how importers manage product certificate data, not which producers require a certificate, not products that require a certificate, because that's never going to change. And in a consumer product that is subject to a CPSC rule, ban, standard, or regulation will continue to require a certificate of compliance, which will be e-filed at the time of entry. Requirements impacting most imported consumer products and those produced domestically will take effect on July the 8th of 2026. Additionally, requirements impacting consumer products imported into a foreign trade zone and subsequently entered for consumption or warehousing will take effect on January the 8th of 2027. Why e-file? E-filing will allow uh, Consumer Product Safety Commission to process import shipments more efficiently and increase focus on higher risk products. Not only will the e-file initiative help to support CPSC's focused targeting effort, but it also provides trade with an improved standardized process for electronically filing product certificates. CPSC's e-filing initiative is projected to have key benefits for both the trade industry and CPSC, including benefits to the trade. The benefits to the trade are reduced hold times for compliant products, fewer examinations, reduced costs to importers, reduced risk scores in CPSC's systems, enhanced certificate data management process. The benefit to CPSC is improved focus and targeting. Excuse me 1 second. Hello? The benefit to CPSC is improved focus and targeting of higher risk products, reduced inspection delays, enhanced agency resource allocation, maximize examination efficiency, better interdiction of non-compliant products before reaching consumers. That is the benefit to CPSC. Who is responsible for product certification? Importers are ultimately responsible for product certification. Both importers and their trade partners should have a clear understanding of which standards needs to be met. All trade partners involved in producing and testing must know which mandatory standards apply to the products they are importing. Trade partners can certify on behalf of the importer if granted permission to do so. What are the requirements for product certification? The e-filing initiative does not change the application consumer product safety requirements for a given product or shipment, but rather creates a process by which the product certificate is filed and provided to CPSC and CBP. CPSC provides various resources to support importers in understanding what testing and certification requirements apply to their imported consumer products. Products must be certified if they are finished products, subject to a consumer product safety rule, ban, similar rule, standard, or regulation, imported for consumption or warehousing or distributed in commerce. What must be included in a product certification? When e-filing product certificates, importers must provide 7 data elements to complete a certificate of compliance as specified in 16 CFR 1110. Those requirements are product ID, identification of the finished product, citation codes, each consumer product safety rule to which the finished product has been certified, manufacture date, date the finished product was manufactured, manufacture place, place where the finished product was manufactured, produced, or assembled, including the name, full address, and contact information of the manufacturing party. Product test data, date when the finished product was most recently tested for compliance. The testing laboratory, parties used for testing a certificate per 16 CFR Part 1110, including the name, full address, and contact information of testing entity. The point of contact, contact information for the party maintaining records of test results, including the name, full address, and contact information. E-filing can be conducted uh, by the importer first by registering with the product registry on the CPSC website. Importers who choose to file reference PGA message sets must use the product registry to input the required certificate of compliance data elements. The CPSC product registry serves as a repository for importers' product certificate data and does not communicate with CBP, a system. Once a product certificate is entered and certified in the product registry, importers must communicate the product certificate's 3 certificate identifiers to the broker so that the reference PGA message set can accurately reference the applicable product certificate in the product registry. As long as the certificate details are identical for the product, a certificate can be entered in the product registry once and referenced repeatedly as multiple shipments of the same product are imported. Those 3 elements that they mentioned are certified ID, product ID, and version ID. The certified ID is a unique identifier created by the importer that is ultimately responsible for certifying the product certificates. It ensures the correct importer is linked to the certificate of compliance that is filed in the product registry. It advises that importers use a simple, alphanumeric, easily identifiable version of their company name that fits within the 23-character limit. Although spaces and special characters may be used, CPSC advises not to use them for ease of submitting the certified ID into reference message sets. Product ID, a unique identifier for the product that is being certified. The product ID can be one of 7 possible ID types: GTIN, SKU, UPC, model number, serial number, register number, or alternate ID. And last is version ID, a unique identifier for the specific version of product certificates in the product registry. The version ID is an alphanumeric ID that your team can easily track and sequentially increment as you add and update product certificates in the product registry. The version ID is unique in the primary product ID. A new version ID must be created in any of the following scenarios. An existing product certificate requires an update based on factors such as lasting compliance renewal. A new batch of the same product with the same product ID that has a material change when compared to the original product batch, such as a change to the product design, change to the manufacturer's process, a change to the source of the component parts for the product. A new batch of the same product with the same product ID manufactured at different facilities and are tested at different labs. Edits to a certified product certificate are required after the editing grace period has ended. A completed and certified product certificate requires edits but has already been used in a PGA message set within the editing grace period. The version ID is the owner certificate identifier that changes when an update is made to an existing product certificate. Okay, this is the role of e-filing responsibilities. The e-filing initiative may change the way importers communicate product certificate data between their trade partners. Each trade partner plays a critical role in the flow of information throughout the e-filing process. While the importer is ultimately responsible for certifying and e-filing their product certificate data, trade partners may act on behalf of the importer for certain e-filing tasks, such as certification in the product registry and filing message sets into the A system, if granted appropriate permissions. Importers' role: engage and communicate with trade partners to provide awareness and guidance on e-filing. Implement updated business processes to support new e-filing roles to include compliance and customs teams, if applicable. Oversee system integration planning and execution. Identify the CPSC regulated products that fall within the scope of e-filing. Provide management, certification, and oversight on product certificate data flows to ensure successful transmission of full PGA message set or reference PGA message set in CBPH. The broker responsibilities work with importer to identify CPSC regulated products that need to be e-filed, establish a data flow with importers to ensure all data elements for message sets are communicated timely and accurately, track shipments through the supply chain to ensure shipment data is ready to file at time of entry, file full PGA message sets or reference PGA message sets at time of entry, communicate with the importer client to ensure the collaborative effort across entire e-filing business process to include status updates, risk mitigation, and shipment tracking. The testing laboratory gathers data requirements for test reports from importer, identify the products and the corresponding citations per CPSC regulations, collaborates with importer and broker to establish a data transfer protocol, execute data transfer for all applicable test reports. The manufacturer gather data requirements for manufacturing information from importer, collaborate with importer and broker to establish a data transfer protocol, execute the data transfer of manufacturer details for all applicable products identified, ensure the manufacturer information is provided accurately and updated as necessary. And last is the software developer create project plan that consists alignment with e-filing timelessness, lead coordinated integration and development efforts to update systems and align with e-filing requirements, develop automated technical solutions to enable easier data transfer, collaborate with all stakeholders to ensure IT architecture works as expected for successful submission of message data sets. Next slide, please. These are products likely subject to e-filing. Pretty much, I would say 80 to 90% of any products are subject to be a hazard or accident prone, or may have some hidden fiber content or something that could cause harm or injury. But CSPBC, CSPC basically, one of their main focus is children's toys. I say it that way. It's and that because they are very concerned with the safety of children. And this is another way of making sure that what is being brought into the country is relatively safe and for kids under the age of 12, particularly. 'Cause, there's an implementation of best practices. Consider these suggested best practices as your business prepares for e-filing. Importers are responsible for identifying products subject to CPSC and taking the necessary steps to comply with e-filing requirements. Set clear, measurable, and specific goals that will ensure success prior to full implementation of e-filing in 2026. Gain comprehensive understanding of e-filing requirements as early as possible to, to allow sufficient time to integrate and implement e-filing processes. Establish integrated communication channels. The success of e-filing implementation will require importers to engage with their trade partners in new ways to comply with the new requirements. It is critical that roles and responsibilities are clearly defined at each step of the process to ensure the successful flow of data from the product registry to CBP's ACE system. Integrated and frequent communication among stakeholders is critical for e-filing as importers and their trade partners work together to comply. Develop technical solutions to enable data flow. The CPSC product registry is a new and optional system for entering and storing product certificate data. As such, previously established systems and processes will need to be updated to accommodate the new system if it is used. Also, many importers will want to consider automated solutions to manage their high volume of products. CPSC understands that it takes time and resources to build these solutions, so it is highly recommended that importers begin gathering requirements and implementing solutions as soon as possible. Consider the level of time, staffing support, and resources required. It is critical that importers assess their readiness prior to e-filing full implementation to ensure they have enough time and resources. Importers may require more time and resources than expected to ensure all data elements are accurately provided and communication across all stakeholders. Identify the coordinated e-filing model that works for your business. Each importer's business is different and will therefore have different workflows and standard operating procedures for how they file their product certificate data and transmit a PGA message seal. It is the responsibility of the importer to make the business decisions that work best for them based on factors such as scale of business, trade partner relationships, technical capabilities, automated versus manual solutions, and current entry filing processes. It is critical that they communicate these decisions to their trade partners and understand the role each of these partners will play in executing the e-filing process. That basically boils down to um, a summary of why this has been implemented and the benefit it has. And
Thank you, Jerome. I remember those days of the physical documents. That was a crazy times, crazy times. We lived for the paperless entries. But again, thank you
okay,
for the overview for the e-filing process. So if you're looking at the screen now, if any of these items resonate with what you bring in, make sure that you give us a call or send us an email so that we can look into this a little more in depth for you, and make sure that you're processing your e-filings um, on time with all the proper documentation at the time of entry. I see questions coming in. We will get to those later on. Let's push on with the rest of our presentation. Next up, we have Daphne. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Oh, thank you,
Thank you.
Erica. Thank you, Jerome. And good morning, my name is Daphne, and over the next few slides, I will walk through some key topics related to CPSC e-filing, sharing a few things importers can do to prepare. And to get started, let's take a look at the regulatory robot. Before creating certificates or entering information into the product registry, importers first need to understand which CPSC requirements apply to their product. To help with that process, CPSC provides a free online tool called the Regulatory Robot. The regulatory robot guides the user through a series of questions and generates a customized report identifying applicable regulation, testing requirements, labeling requirements, and whether GCC or CPC may be required. This is a good starting point, especially when you are unsure which rules apply to a particular product. And actually, the process is actually really simple. Just the robot will ask basic questions about the product, such as its type, intent user, material, and how it will be used. Depending on the product and your answers, the questions you see may be different. And next, based on your answer, the robot generates a customized report that's showing the requirements that may apply. And the importer can use this report as a starting point to prepare certificates and e-filing information before importing this product into US. And now I will briefly show you how the regulatory robot works. Next slide, please. And for this example, let's assuming we are importing a children's toy. First, you can give the report a name for your own reference and record-keeping purpose. Next thing would be you choosing. You can either type in the product name or select the closest product category. In this case, it would be toys and infant activity products. And then they will guide you through a series of questions. For example, it will ask whether you are a small batch manufacturer, and there's even a hyperlink available if you would like to review the definition of a small batch manufacturer. And after you answering this question, as you continue, the next page you will be asked additional question to further define the product, and you can simply choose the description that best matches your item and go ahead and generate the customized report and showing the applicable requirements, including whether the third-party testing and a children's product certificate are required. And I will also want to highlight one piece of information in this report. It would be next slide, please. This is the citation number will be in your report, and you will be needing it later when Jackie demonstrating how to create the record in the product registry. And just a reminder, the regulatory robot is only designed for guidelines, and it should not replace a fully compliance review. And with this information on hand, the next step is to set up the filing process and prepare the certificate data required for e-filing. So we will go on to our next steps on how we submit the certificate data. Once the required information has been gathered, importer have two options to transmitting certificate data to CPSC. The first option would be full PGA message set. Under this method, importer must provide all required certificate data elements to their broker. who then manually enters the information into ACE for every shipment. Even if the product is identical to one previous import, the same data must be submitted and re-entered each time. Because of this, the full PGA message set is generally more suitable for importers with a limited product or regulate, or those who do not frequently import the same product. Since the filing is required manually data entry, the broker may also charge a higher filing fee compared to our second options, which is the reference PGA message set. Under this approach, importer first enter all certificates data into CPSC product registry. While once the product records are created, the system generates the unique identifiers, including certifier ID, product ID, and version ID. After these records are created, importer only need to provide these identifiers to their custom broker, and the broker should submit this reference information through ACE. This method is generally recommended for importers who repeatedly import the same regulated product and save importer from having to re-enter the same certificate information for every shipment. They can reuse this information for the same product. And since the reference PGA message set depends on the data in the product registry, so we'll also take a quick look on how the process works. So we can go to the next slides too. I will give you a really quick review of the process. Jackie will provide us a live demo later. And first, importer need to create a product registry account under the importer of record, where the certificate information can be securely stored and maintained. And next step is importer that prepare all the required certificate data and ensure all information is complete and accurate. Once the data is ready, the importer can create a product record and upload certification information into the product registry. After the record is created, the system generates the identifiers needed for e-filing. Importer then provide those identifiers to their custom broker, who transmit them through the ACE portal. Through ACE as part of the entry filing purpose. So now Jackie will work through the steps in more detail and demonstrating how create the product record, upload the certificate information, and generate the identifiers used for reference PGA filing. So I will now turn it over to Jackie.
Thank you, Stephanie. This is Jackie. Hi, everybody. I'll be showing you guys a live demo with submitting the product registry. Basically, if you're pretty new to this CPSC eFiling, I'll be showing you from how to register an account as an importer, what are the product data elements are needed, and then how to submit, and going to some of the validation and troubleshoot with some common errors at the time when you're doing the e-filings. So before we dive into the live demo, here's some of the user roles and responsibilities that you should take a look. So the top tier is going to be for the business account administrator. That's basically the IOR itself. So if you're an importer, you should be being a business account administrator. With that being said, you're going to have full access to user management and collection management. That means that you can invite anybody, maybe inside of the company or outside of the company. If those are the trade parties that you want to add in, those are fine. And then you also get to create a product collection. You get to add, update data in the collection. The second tier is going to be the collection administrator. For this one, they will have access to invite collection editors, adding or updating data in the collection, and certifying products. So let's say that if your company do have like a compliance team, and then I do recommend then appointing to the manager of the team to be in this role. So that way they could manage and maintain all the info from day to day. Next here is going to be for the collection editor. So for this one, they will only have access with the adding or updating the data in the collection and then certifying the product. So for this role, maybe if you want to appoint the manufacturer or maybe the laboratory, if they're willing to do the e-filing for you. Otherwise, having someone from your compliance team, that would also be a good idea. So they could keep doing the adding new items to it and then doing the certifying. And then the bottom tier is going to be for the collection viewer. So for this one, what they can do is just logging into the page and see the all the data that the collection editor or maybe the collection administrator have added. So for this role, probably I'll say that you might want to have someone from the logistic department of your company, or maybe assign it to the import coordinators. That way they could gather all the info for the entry filing. And then next, then I'll be starting with the actual demo. Can try to this. So yep, so if you go to Google and then just do CPSC product registry, it's gonna be popping up right here. So if you're new and you need a new account, how you gonna do it? Log into this page, this is the front page, go into register now, the box, go next. And here basically are the three main elements that you need: your email address, your company name, and your IR number, the EIN number. This one is a lot more easier than compared to the ACE portal. Info right here, I mean the email right here, it doesn't have to be matching with the 5106. So let's try to do it here. Say Jackie@yahoo.com. So APC company, and then I'll just put a random one just to show it to you how it works. So let's say that you do see that I have like put something random. If you go ahead and click submit, you are going to receive an error message right here, showing that the validation of the IOR number that we provided are incorrect. So in this case, you probably will want to double check if there's any typo on it. And if you continue seeing this error message, then probably I'll recommend reaching out to the e-filing support. And let's say that everything else, your input were correct, and then you should be receiving like an email link. Just follow on the instruction, and then eventually you will have your account set up ready. One thing, just a reminder, when you're setting up your account, there's one section where you have to input the certifier ID. That certifier ID is pretty important for a custom broker who need it for entry filing. So I would recommend just inputting your company's name instead of making something random. I don't know. Fast importer 2026. Okay. Once you have your account ready, go back. You're gonna go back to the main page right here. Click sign in, and then to logged in, and then there's the business portal sign in. Go ahead and go sign in. And then it'll direct you to the front page. Okay, if you're brand new to this, all you're gonna see is the manage users, add collections, and trade parties, with everything else being blank. So what I recommend you starting to do is that you can add on one of the collections. So according to CPSC, it doesn't really have to, there's no sorting order. So let's say that if you want to by category, let's say that you want to do like toys, that's okay. If you want to do like furnitures, that's okay too. If you wanted to sort it by manufacturer name or maybe the laboratory, everything else is fine. Go ahead and click the create collection, and then a new collection will be added right here. So there's the toys right here. So the next step I would say recommend you doing it is to adding different trade parties to here, and go ahead and click add here so everybody, so all users can see this message. Basically there's total of 3 different trade parties that you want to add in. So these are the manufacturer, the laboratory, and the POC. And then it doesn't matter if you go into each one of them. It will basically require you to input the manufacturer info or the laboratory's info. So let's say that today we want to do like a manufacturer, so the trade party name, let's do Engine Toys ABC company. And for the alternate ID, this one is a customizable ID. You can basically input anything. So let's say do some toy ABC China. So with this, it's just better to help you to identify which manufacturer you're looking at the time when we're doing the product registry. So next is going to be for the address. So it's going to be the address line. Oh, one thing for all the fields right here, all you got to do is to input the one with the little star next to it. So if you don't see a star next to it, meaning that those are optional, you don't really have to input anything. The country, let's do China, state, Shenzhen, zip code, postal code, phone number, let's do 66. Of course, there has to be a contact number for the manufacturer, not the one for the importer. So checking 123.com. So you can see that the manufacturer has been added, and then what you want to do is that after you adding the manufacturer, you also wanted to add in the laboratory or the POC. But for this, it's just basically repeating the same step over and over again. I'm gonna do those. Next, what you can do is that once you have one of the collection created, the next step you could go to action, and then you could invite user. So what it's going to be, so let's say that today you want to add in to another user to manage this CPSC eFiling, or maybe if you want them to be an editor or maybe to a viewer, you can do it right here. It's pretty simple. Select the role, input their email address, and then after like 5 minutes, they should be receiving like an email link, so they could follow the instruction right there, and then they will have access to the CPSC eFiling. Let's say that today you want to add another account administrator, which is, let's say that today if you're a CEO, you want to add somebody like the CFO in it, you can still add it in here. Invite user, input their email address as the account administrator, and then they will basically have the full access. Yep. After this, going back to the dashboard, and then I'll be showing you how to do the product registry. There is basically 2 ways to do it. You can either do it like one by one, product by product, or you can do like a bulk upload. So let's start with doing like one by one. So let's get water. So with the product name, we will do, we need a pool. The brand name is this me. For the product type, let's do SKU number 123. And here you can always add more. So let's say that under that SKU number, there's different model number. You can add in, that's fine. Go into product description. Here, what it requires you is that for the color style description, those are optional. You don't see a star next to it. For the manufacturer name, so this is the one that you have already pre-typed. So let's say that today you forgot to add the trade body, and you can still add it in here. It's just the same step, but it will preset as the manufacturer. cancel. Let's do it today. And the manufacturer date, let's put January 2026 for the production start date, end date, though, which is optional. You don't really have to put in, but you do have it. I do suggest you to input as much as you get. Next. So for the certificate type, there's going to be two types, GCC or CPC. So we're doing a CPC today. For the last test date, we're going to do with 2025, I'll say Christmas. Once you've done that, the next step is going to be inputting the laboratory's info. There's two types of like testing sites. One is CPSC accepted, the other one is other. According to CPSC, for your testing site, it doesn't have to be a CPSC accepted. If it is, the website has already pre-filled all the info for you, so you don't have to do the type in again. Otherwise, you go into other, and then here's the one that we just added. Or if it's you want to add more, you can do it here. So here we'll do just select a random one. Since we're doing a testing. The test URL, report key, report ID, those are the ones. If you have it, you can just input it. If you don't, it's optional. For the citation, I think Stephanie has already went through. You'll eventually have to add a citation to this. So let's say we need a pool. So let's say you say battery operated toys. So it's maybe right here. You can always add more than one citation. So it's also like a stuff and beanbag type toys you can add in. It's going to be showing up right here. So next, right here, it will ask you to generate like a version ID. Simple, go into it, and then it will create like a version ID for you. The PLC right here, I would always recommend that putting as the importer, because at the end of the day, the importer should be responsible for all the data in the eFiling. Going back to the product, so let's say that you do see on the top, there's like 3 check marks right here. So let's say that you forget about to input something which is at the start on it and just went to the next page. You will be seeing a missing data on the top right here. Just going back, go ahead and fill in the one in red, and do it again. So going back to certificate, what you want to do is that clicking the certify. And then on the top, it will say that your product has been saved successfully. Under the status, it will see as a complete, and then with a little clock next to it. What that means is that the CPSC eFiling allow you to have up to 48 hours to make changes or maybe adjustment if it's needed. It's pretty simple. Go to action, click the dots, and then just go to edit. This is one way of doing it. The other way, you could do like a bulk upload. So let's say that if you're like a small importer, only have like a few items, then probably I would recommend adding the products one by one. Otherwise, if you have like hundreds or like thousands of items that need to be added, so doing the bulk upload will be the easiest way for you. So how you want to do it? On the upper right here, there's import. Click into it. I have a CSV file pre-filled already. At the end of the webinar, we'll be sharing that to you so you know what the formatting is look like. And we'll be also sharing the CPSC actual guideline to you so you know what exactly you need to be put in on the CSV file. So under the import review, you will see one new product entry is ready for import in green. One new product entry have error in red. So the one in green, meaning that everything on that row or that column has everything, all the info were correct. There's no mistake, nothing went wrong, we're good. So if it's the one in red, if you move your mouse to it, you will see all the error messages showing that, telling you what went wrong. And then you could go back to the CSV files to make the adjustment if it's needed. And then today we're not going to fix that error, but just showing you how the bulk upload will look like. So let's say that today you want to skip the one with errors and you just want to proceed the one that everything looks good. On the right hand side here, certify valid certificates upon importing, do a check mark, and then you're gonna click import valid products. Once you click that, the certify is gonna take some time. Just one sec. All right, it will show that your valid products were successfully imported. With the bulk upload, I think the system is having a little bit delay on it. Usually, it will take up to like 10 minutes to hours for those new items to display here. But it's the same thing. If you have done everything correctly, it should show up later on, and then you're still gonna see like the complete under the status with a clock next to it. So as Jerome and Daphne have mentioned, there's three main components that we need as a broker for entry filing. So it will be the product ID, it will be here, product ID, the version ID, and then your certifier ID. Well, these three, I would say that to make both parties easier is that to have those included in the on the commercial invoice. So next to the line. So we don't have to keep coming back and forth just to confirm which of the items were subject to CPSC and which the one that we shoot this time. So basically, that's pretty much about the demo with the CPSC eFiling. Let me going back to the PowerPoint. Just one sec. Whoops. Give me one sec. Okay, sorry, I have to start over again. Okay, here. Okay, so just a reminder, if there's any info that you have input with the CPSC eFiling incorrect, that may cost you a lot of money, such as CBP may delay or reject or detain the shipment. And then it's basically, yeah, you don't want that. You just want to double check everything, make sure everything is correct. You have up to 48 hours to make adjustment if it's needed. And that's pretty much about the demo. And next, I'll be handing off to Leeway with some frequently asked questions, FAQs, and some of the most common scenarios that you might face.
Thank you, Jackie, for the demo. We appreciate it. Before we move on to Leeway, do we have any questions about what we've seen already? Not what we're about to go into the frequently asked questions, but any portions of the overview that Jerome may have presented, or any questions on the overview of the system from Daphne, or from the anything that you saw within the demo. Um, are there any questions so far? We do have some questions that I am seeing in the chat. Leeway and I will get to those at the end of our FAQ section. Okay? If not, then Leeway, take it over.
Thank you. So I'm gonna go over some of the frequently asked questions, and some of these might have already been answered in the previous presentation, but we're just gonna go over these quickly. So what is the CPSC e-filing and why is it required? Basically, it is the electronic submission of product safety data to CBP at time of entry, and this is going to be stored in July 8th, 2026. So I do see a question on is e-filing based on the ETA? It will be based on the ETA July 8th, and that would be the AMS ETA arrival. So anything arriving on or after that will need to file the CPSC message set. So before this becomes effective mandatory that we have to input all those data, uh, importer, they still require to have all the CPC, GCC on file, but those certificates typically stay with the importer. We were only asking those when it's requested by the CBP or CPSC. So sometimes you might never be asked for these certificates, but the requirement has always been there. So if it's selected to be reviewed, sometimes it will go to physical examinations. Sometimes they do like testing, verify the compliance. Maybe they do some product testing on site, or they might request for additional informations. And with this e-filing, basically we kind of have to provide all these certificates before it is being flagged for review. So this information is now being submitted electronically at time of entry. So the goal is to allow CPSC to target like higher risk shipments and identify like potential compliance issues earlier, and maybe they could also expedite the release of the products that are compliant. And moving on to which products require e-filing. Basically, any products that requires CPC or GCC, those all require filings. So these majority of these are focusing on children's product. Children's product do make up a large portion of the program, but there are also non-children consumer products that requires like a general certificate of conformities. So if you are not sure whether your product is required, I guess the best place to start is with a CPSC regulatory robot, which definitely covered. It kind of walks you through a series of questions and identify like what CPSC regulation may be applied. And I do see that there's a question on citation. Can citation be verified and confirmed by using this robot? It can provide you some guidance. It is not a legal advice, but in most of cases, it provides more detailed guidance than what a custom broker can provide. So after the robot, if you still have questions, we do suggest that you contact CPSC directly. They usually reply in email, and they can provide you a more detailed guidance on what your product needs. So their guidance they will probably carry more weight than what our advice is. So what information must be included in the certificate? We kind of covered this issue: the product ID, citation code, manufacture date, place, product test date, and testing laboratory and point of contact. These are the basic information that needs to be on the certificates. So next slide. So do I need to keep a physical or PDF copy of the certificate? Yes, importers should maintain a copy of the certificate on file. It's important to understand that e-filing, it does not replace the certificate itself. It just gets transmitted through electronically. So what gets transmitted through ACE is only the key certificate information that allows CPSC or CBP to identify the product and verify the compliance. So the actual children's product certificate or the GCC, they still need to be have a copy on file, and importer is responsible for maintaining these certificates. And if there are citation like what type of test reports, the test report and compliance document should be also keeping a copy. So there's a question on if the GCC can be manually issued by the importer, or does it need to be certified by the third party? The GCC can be issued by manufacturer or the importer. And if it's a general use product, importer or the manufacturer, they can provide the GCC. But if there are testing sites or testing referenced, I would probably recommend to have either manufacturer or the third party to issue these GCC. And how do I submit certificate data to CPSC? I think the live demo kind of demonstrate how you can input this in the product registry. And once you finish the registry, you could provide a message set, like the reference ID to broker, and we can input those information at time of entry. And if we do not receive all this required data, we probably will reach out to you and asking you for these information. So can my custom broker file the certificate for me? Yes, we can file the certificate, but it's important to understand that a broker is acting as the transmitter of the information, not the certifier. So basically, you are providing us with the data that's needed, but and the broker is transmitting those information. The data that's provided, the responsibility of the compliance testing certificate and record keeping, those are still remains with the importer. So as a broker, we are only transmitting the data that's provided. So there's a question on, will Logix be requesting for document and filing for the importer? At time of entry, if we do not have any information and the entry filing require this information, we probably will reach out to the importer to request this information. And if you already register your product in the CPSC file, you can share those information with us, add the broker as the viewer, and we could go in there and look for the data that's matching the invoice and packing. And ideally, it might be best if these data can be provided on the invoice, which makes everything goes smooth. Like we don't need to reach out to you to verify this information. And if this information, let's say the SKU number or product cannot be matched, we still kind of have to reach out to you. So what happens if I fail to e-file a required certificate? So basically, you might be seeing delay, reject, or maybe uh, shipment is just not cleared. So simply without the data, entry probably cannot be transmitted. We will get like a reject. The shipment will not be released until this information is entered and transmitted. So how do I know if my HTS codes are affected? CPSC has published a list of HTS code linked to the regulated products. So you can kind of check the HTS reference list. And also, if your item is on the reference list, it kind of can go through the regulatory robot to verify what type of info certificate is needed, or even sometimes you might not even need a certificate based on depending on what type of product you're importing. So what is the CPSC product registry? Do I need an account? Yes, we generally recommend that importer create their own CPSC account, and the registry kind of provide a location where you can manage your product certificates and like generate like all the certificate IDs and then all your product list. So, but for liability issues, we do not create or manage a registry account on behalf of importer. Importer will need to create these account, and if needed, the importer can provide us with a view-only access, so we can kind of see what's in there, and then provide some guidance, and then we can cross-reference with the invoice to see what products is on there and requires the filing. So basically, importer is still responsible for all the information and data accuracy and information that's needed. So there's no deadline for this e-filing. So it's just gonna be on the entry filing when the clock starts. We'll need those data. And so I'll pass it back to Erica to close us out.
Thank you so much. And we did have one other question, which was how much does iLogix charge to do the e-filing on behalf of the IOR? And I'll answer that question. You can ask your sales rep. We're only here to provide the information and the guidance for the e-filing. You can talk rates with your respective sales rep, or if you're a direct iLogix client, you can give us a call and we can schedule something so we can discuss. So what do we need to do before July 8th, 2026? We need to confirm that we need to confirm your product scope. Identify your products, go back to that list of HTS codes, see if your products fall within that scope. I also put a copy in the chat. If you still have questions and you want to see it for yourself, you'll also receive a copy of this presentation, which has a screen that has those products. You want to make sure that your certificates are completed, and you want to make sure that they're accurate. So that is before you provide them to your customs broker with the complete entry package. That's your commercial invoice, packing list, BL. You want to make sure all that is together so that we're not running around looking for information. As Jackie indicated earlier, it's best practice to put this information on your commercial invoice or to provide a separate document where we can just grab those numbers and keep going and it won't delay your shipments. The best thing that you can do if you have a lot of products, we appreciate it if you do a bulk upload into the e-filing. That makes it easier on us when we're filing your entry. Um, Set up your registry. Again, Jackie walked through how to do that. And Daphne also talked about the robot. If you play around with that robot, it provides you with a lot of information that may be required for your product. Let's say you're assuming that for your product, these are the tests that need to be ran. But if you go play around with that robot, it'll actually show you that these are the specific tests that need to be provided in order for your shipment to get released. So you want to do all of this, preferably prior to you even shipping, because you don't want the delays. The delays will cost you money in demurrage, storage, exam fees, holds. We want to alleviate that stress, and let's get it right the first time before July 8th. Okay. You want to run tests on on these systems early. Knock it out. Don't delay. Let's play around with it now. Let's have the conversations with your broker, or your leads. For us, it's everybody that's on this call. You can give us a phone call and we can sit down and have a conversation and get you prepared prior to, again, prior to July 8th. If you already have something on the water, we can talk about, what that looks like now. If you haven't already e-filed, let's have the conversations. Um, we can move on to the next slide for me, Jackie. Okay, so we want to file, like this says, with confidence. Um, a recording of this video, again, will be sent to everyone who registered. We're also going to send a summary of the presentation. Again, reach out to any of our advisors for a conversation and start registering now before July 8th. Um, Jerome, did you have anything to say before we head out after singing everything and singing all the questions?
Hello? Oh, yeah, I do. Erica, I wanted to be able to share a screen if
Okay,
that's possible.
Jackie, stop sharing so that Jerome can share.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, can everybody see that?
Now we can.
All right. This is actually from CPSC's website. If certificates pretty much uh, everybody already has if they've been importing product that requires it. So basically, it's just a matter of them putting the data that they already have in the system. However, if you're in doubt about whether or not you are importing a product that may require certification, this is where you want to go. And these are the steps. If you notice at the bottom, you search the business guidance library, and this will give you an opportunity to check to see whether or not the product you're concerned about requires certification. And then this is all like uh, Daphne explained about the robot as well as Jackie. How to test and certify the product is here. One of the main things that customers are concerned about is the last time the product was tested at a laboratory. So this particular site is I'm gonna just it's www.cpsc.gov/efiling/help. That's a reference a website for questions. If you have questions about a product and you're in doubt about whether or not it has to be certified, or if you're even new to importing products and you want to know if the product requires certification. Then as far as the relationship with iLogic is concerned, if you know in the past, if you have had a product that come in and you provided iLogic with a certification, then it should be somewhere in our file. You can remind us of that as well. And then as far as inputting the data, then, that's something that you would have to probably discuss with accounting as far as what it would charge, what iLogic would charge to accommodate you in that effort. And that's it. So if anybody, if all people has this access to this website, I'm pretty sure you do. Just go in and type in cpsc.gov and it should come up, and you can do your searches here.
Okay, I just put it in the chat. If anybody did not have it before this point, we have one last question before we head out, and anyone on the team can respond to it. It says, if we choose option one for the PGA message set, the importer does not need to create a CPSC account. They just need to submit all certificates to a customs broker. Is that true?
Sid, what was the last part?
Okay, go back to this. Let me see. Jackie, I need you to go back to slide 15. So it says, if we choose option one, the PGA message set, the importer does not need to create a CPSC account. They just need to submit all certificates to the customs broker. Is that true?
Hold on a second.
It's in the chat.
So yes, that's true. And if the importer only has like one or two items, that might be the way to go. But if you have a lot of items, we still recommend that you register and input all your items and then send us the. I guess you could export the file or with the reference ID, certified ID, product ID, version ID to us, and then we could input those information. Otherwise, we have to input a lot more information into when we doing the entry, so it might be taking more time, and then it might cost more also.
Okay. We have about 2 more minutes. Any more last minute questions? Any questions that we didn't answer? Thank you everyone for your thank yous. I see them in the message. I hope this was helpful. I hope we did a good job. Send us a message to our email info@ilogixchb.com. If you have any feedback, you have any more questions. Again, like I said, if you just want to talk about your shipments before July 8th, because we want to make sure that we're all on the same page and we want to make sure that you're compliant. Okay. So again, thank you everyone for participating. Thank you, Tan, for our welcome. Thank you, team. You did an amazing job. I'm very proud of you. And if there be nothing else, that will be it. Thank you guys. And let us know if you have any other webinar ideas. And we
Thank
can go
you,
from there.
everyone. Thank you, Erica, Jerome, and thank you all the team and everyone to join our team today. Jack appreciated that you spend more time and to learn together. And thank you. Have a great day.